All right, we live. How y'all doing today? I was a little weak, man. We got a lot of y'all here. We got over 300 RSVPs. I'm gonna need to hear y'all again. How y'all doing today? First off, let me say Happy Black History Month. Thank you guys for coming out in the last development of our Justice Now series as a part of USG. For those that don't know what Justice Now is, it's a series in which we bring in prominent black figures across the nation and across the world to really just present on their experiences, what they do, why they're famous, why it's important that they are the people that are looked to represent us, right? So I'm pretty sure y'all know who we have coming. We have somebody who's not only a tremendous athlete, a tremendous person, but also a tremendous activist. The 100-meter record holder in college at 10.75, and one of the top 6 fastest women in world history. And really, I don't need to give her any much more of an introduction than that. Y'all know who it is. And I want to introduce you guys to Sha'Carri Richardson. How you doing? Good. So, man, we can start real quick with just, your background and how you really just got to who you are. Like, when you started real young, what was your life like? How did you come to be a track athlete? How did you start out?
Hello. Hi, everybody. Thank y'all for coming out. I know what it's like to have class and all that and still come do some extra, so I appreciate y'all for just wanting to listen to me talk or whatever. But how I got started, basically, my mom, I think I done told this story 1,000 times, so ain't nothing new. But my mom, she had some medals. My grandmother made her a platter, like a glass or whatever. And I was like, I want one. And so she let her know what I wanted to do. And from then on, we just continued to just grow, I guess. I just started training. I started training when I was like 6. And then from there, I just kept going. Probably didn't start really taking it serious until I knew I was going to high school. And I was like, oh, well, I can go to college and get it for free. So that's when I really started taking it serious and not just looking at like the real potential that everybody around me really saw. Or like honestly just how good I was at it. I was like, all right, I guess I can do this.
That's what's up. So I know a lot of y'all, I did track. I know a couple of y'all did track. I know when I started, they tried to put me in the 400, 800, 600. Crazy. Did you always start out as a sprinter? Did you do some distance? How did it start?
No. If I would have started with distance, I would have never ran track, and it would have ruined it for me. I've always ran sprints. Actually, I ran the, like in elementary, like the little childish races. You have like the 50 meters in like elementary. But I think in middle school, I started running 200 first, actually, before I started doing anything else. And then I found out I was good at the 100, and then I transitioned to the 100.
Actually, that's what's up. And I
actually used to, it's childish, but I used to stand and jump. Like that's before you get in like middle school, high school, and do long jump. It's called stand and jump. So yeah, I'm a little Phil Evander,
That's what's up. And I remember I heard you talking in our office earlier about your favorite race. I was wondering, I know you obviously world famous for the 1. My personal favorite is the 2, and I know the 2 is a real slept-on race. So I was wondering, what's your favorite race? 1 or the 2?
Honestly, so performance-wise, of course, I love the 100. And in my heart, I really love the 200 because that's how I really got started. Like, that's what really made me see that track was for me, was the 200. And honestly, I don't know. I feel like I would want to break that record first before the 100.
Can we get a round of applause for that, man? So you did mention your mother, seeing your mother's medals, and that's kind of what enamored you with track. And I was wondering, either your mother or who else, who are your greatest inspirations when it comes to the track?
Honestly, I know that may sound weird, but most of my inspiration that I get actually comes off the track from people. Like if I have to, of course, say like track people that, well, not even just track athletes that I look up to, of course, I would say Wilma Rudolph. She overcame a lot of just personal things that she had to overcome before she became the great athlete that she was. Also, I would say I love Kobe for the simple fact that like he was bold, like he gonna put it in your face because he could do that. And I definitely respected that to a different level because you don't see that a lot, especially from a woman. They want women to be, be quiet and humble. And more specific, they want a black woman to be quiet and humble. And it's just like, I don't think I want to do that. No, I know I don't want to do that, so I'm not doing it. But honestly, I would say I love history. I love black history for the simple fact I love to know where I came from in order to know where I'm going, to know where I want to go. Be able to use my platform. I always say I want to do something different with my platform, not just be like any regular, not even just regular, but like just any other athlete that you see that has the power or has the platform to say something, but don't. I don't want to ever be somebody that said I could have done something and never did. Well, yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. Oh yeah. So you talked a little bit about just the differences. First of all, your heroes and the different things they went through. As a track athlete, obviously, you once upon a time you weren't where you were now. So what was the adversity like getting to where you were? Both on the track, off the track. How did it make you who you are?
I would say more so what made me on the track, honestly, is what happened to me off the track, if that makes sense. I wear my heart on my sleeve, so anytime I step into something, it's because of what it's done for me, what I've gone through, and what I know it's going to do for me. So just honestly understanding that, especially like I can say other sports, but track is 90% mental and 10% physical. So I know I had a lot of mental and self and spiritual work that I know I needed to work on in order before I could come out to the world as this track star, or before I could go onto the track and run and perform on the level that I'm able to.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think it's important it's definitely important you know that, because I think a lot of people see you do what you do, see Steph Curry shoot a three and think it don't take no work to get there. It doesn't take a lot of thought and preparation, so it's important. That's definitely what's up. And I think that's just a great segue to, I think what a lot of people kind of know you for is, how you came into the spotlight. And this last year and a half has definitely been a whirlwind, and I know there's been a lot of things going on. And I was wondering, with all the things that happened both on and off the track, you being prominent for what happened, how did you deal with that? How was that time for you? How is it still for you? How are you dealing with it?
I'm not dealing with anything. I've moved on. That's what life is. Shit happens. But you don't dwell on it. That's the thing. That's what your real growth. The fact that you take it, you learn from it, and you continue to thrive. I don't know, not know you're talking about, because I'm only focused on the future.
So I hope that means we're going to stop it whatever time to clap. That's always good. That's always good. So I hope that means we're going to see you at the next Olympic trials.
That's every 4 years. We have meets in between, and like this year, a big meet this year is World Championships that actually will be in Oregon, and it's the first time it'll be in the United States. Honestly, of course, if y'all want to say the Olympics, then yes, I'll be there. But more so until then, just showing that track and field is more than just the Olympics. Like, we have other races that are just as, dominant, the energy, the competition, will make you just as exciting as if you're sitting and watching a football game. So definitely for me, until up into the Olympics, I'm going to do my best to just show that track and field is an exciting sport to watch all the time, not just every 4 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what is that like, being a professional, like obviously you're out at LSU now, just dealing with, the day-to-day life of being a professional athlete, what is that like on a day-to-day basis leading up to meets? What's that process?
Well, I would say it's honestly like literally different phases, at least for myself, for getting ready for just even the season. Like, you have fall training. If you're athletes, you got fall training, you got transition into spring, and then all of those areas bring something different. Like for me, it just brings different mindsets, like what I should be doing more so during this time period, what I need to do less of now. So that we're going into the season. Honestly, I don't have time to, like during the season, I don't have time to think, I don't have time to change, because by then, you're in full-blown work mode. You can't really stop once you're in full throttle. So definitely being prepared so I don't have to get prepared. Yeah.
And how is that like kind of meet schedule when you're in season? Obviously, practices ramp up, meets are coming up every week. So what's that mode like when you're just locked in, you're focused on what's coming up day by day? How's that process?
That process, being locked in day by day, honestly, is just walking into every day, looking at it like it's a new opportunity. This is a new day, a new practice. something to do differently yesterday, honestly, to get to, to the meet, to that time period, to be focused on the race, and knowing that I'm going to perform to my best abilities when it's time.
One second. So one thing I also know a lot of people are interested about is, everybody sees everybody win and, see you cross the finish line, you're number one. What is the thought process, when you put everything you got into a race, when you put everything you got into a meet, and you don't get out the result that you're looking for? What's that? What is after that like? How you bounce back? How was that for you?
I would say the same thing. It's more so just about a lesson. You know what you did wrong. You know your situation leading up to it. You know everything it is that put you in that position. So honestly, it's just about going back to the drawing board. Honestly, it's just about going back to the drawing board and just wanting to progress, wanting to go forward. Because if you sit as well on anything, it's gonna keep. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna keep happening. So just honestly seeing, learning.
Awesome. That's awesome. So I did also kind of want to transition a little bit because one of the things that I know a lot of us have appreciated you for off the track is your conversations around mental health. And I know especially in the track world, everything that's going on came around as well. It's become a renewed conversation. So I was wondering, dealing with mental health and, being somebody that people. Damn. We good? We good? Y'all good? We ain't losing none yet? Okay. Everybody good? Thumbs up? Perfect. But yeah, so dealing with, to get back on track, again, you become kind of a mental health advocate, people see you for that. How do you deal with your own mental health? How do you support others in that same situation? And how is it like with so much attention, so much pressure put on you on a day-to-day basis?
Well, how I say I deal with my own mental health, I would honestly say understanding that track is my job, but it's still my love, it's still my passion. So anytime I go into practice, finding something that I love about it, finding something joyous about it that I'll maybe have fun with it a little bit. I would say how I personally share or help advocate mental health is by just sharing my experiences. I feel like especially in the Black community, we're taught, or we're so scared of sharing mental health is seen as, you tripping, or go do this, go do that, and then go talk, go do this, you know what I'm saying? Or not even seen as go talk, therapy is seen as something as, major. And it's just honestly my experience. I just want to share and let you know that I done been through it, this is what I did for me. If it can help you, if so, but the fact that you can take anything from my story and apply it to yourself, that's the only way I feel like I can help, and that's the best way to help. And honestly, on the track, I feel like with all the attention that's put on me, it's annoying as hell. But I just try to find the positivity in it, honestly, like how I really can use this attention, not to make so much noise, but to make some shake, if that makes sense.
Oh no, that makes sense. Make some shake. Y'all heard that? That's awesome. So one thing I would also ask is, obviously everything comes from your experience, and it's just, your lived experience is shaping the way that you see the world and talk to the world. So for everybody that's out here, for some people who may be struggling with their own mental health in the same position as you, trying to be an athlete, get to the next level, what words of advice would you give to people out here?
Words of advice I would give is, honestly, to be yourself, surround yourself around people that understand who you are, and find something that makes you feel like you. Honestly, I feel like just going back to mental health is just the fact that what's put in front of us all the time, the things we can't control, the things that are life itself. So the fact of just what we can't control with itself, how much we put back into ourselves, the self-love we put into ourselves, the self-care that we put into ourselves, just noticing how much energy and how much time you put into yourself, I would say, is definitely what I would tell anybody if I'm advocating for mental health.
Awesome. So another question kind of around some things that have happened recently. Everybody paying attention to the Winter Olympics, everything that's going on? I think we've seen some obvious discrepancies in the way that the Olympics have treated different situations and athletes, and I think it's it sparked again the conversation about equity and inclusion, not just in the Olympics and sports generally, but also the world itself. So I was wondering, what are your thoughts around things like that?
Excuse me, audience. I'm not going to answer that question in the way you asked me. I'm going to answer it in the way that needs to be addressed for me until I am ready to talk to the world about certain things, which I thought I said. But basically, I would just say that if anything is put out into the world, it's for everybody to see, and the only thing that I ever want to put out to the world is the truth. I never said I want to be right. I never said I want to be wrong. I just always want the truth to be put out there. And that's that.
So, as you know, just being off the court, I mean, not off the court, off the track, how do you see your role? Because you're one of a lot of athletes, I think, that have started this conversation just around, just people being treated equally and fairly. But I think it's also put a lot of light on you as a black woman athlete. So what has that been like, people looking at you not just for the track stuff, but also to be that kind of beacon of truth?
Honestly, that's really my biggest goal. I know I run fast, I know I'm an athlete, but a lot of people are athletes. A lot of people have run track, but what have they done differently? Like, what have they really done for their community? And more other than just sit around and practice and complain about it, or just sit and talk about it amongst, friends, family. It's just more so like, what are you really trying to do or what can you really do to put out there and make a difference? So I think that's what drives me, honestly. The fact that I want to be able to put out there what it is that everybody else not necessarily scared to put out there, but I mean, this is my life. When I step off the track, that's just my job. I step off the track, I still live. I'm still a black woman. I'm still living in the United States. There's still issues and things going on that I have to deal with besides the fact that I'm just running fast. So I always want to speak on the truth because the truth is there, whether you like it or not, disagree with it or not.
Gotcha. And again, because I love to bring kind of UConn, especially UConn students into the conversation. What would you say to people that are out here kind of, maybe again, not in the same situation that you're in, but, see things that they want to speak out on and things that may not be going their way? How would you kind of advise people to go about that, especially people that may not know how to speak out, may not know what to say, may be scared of that?
I would say honestly, in the ways that you do every single day, I feel like at practice, like for me personally, like how I share, of course, like we have social media, that's one way. Posting just what you feel, what you think, whether, like I said, whether people agree to disagree, everybody has their own opinion for different reasons, but something has to be said in order for something to be different, or in order for change to happen. And a lot of what we see in the world, all you see is that everybody wants change. So, and I will honestly, but yes, I would say that honestly, just putting out there how you can make a difference, like social media, just talking to your friends every day, like making them think, like reevaluate things. Like I recently, I go to practice and approach my co-workers, they put me to the side later on and ask me things, or actually be really into my posts and stuff, or mention it to me. But it's the fact is they didn't know those things and they do want to know more. So honestly, it's in the smallest ways that you think isn't making a difference, can make a difference.
That's what's up. I do have about two more questions. One is just about your whole journey through your process, not just as an athlete, but as a person. What are some things that you come to realize in your journey, that you may not have touched on before, or may not have come to you? And what are some things that you've realized over time that have shaped the person that you've become?
I think over this journey, I have realized that I am more of a private person. Just for the simple fact of just really being put out into the front of the world, you really can't make a move without something being announced. But not in a bad way private, more so in a way of private, meaning I just really want to be more self, because I know that anything you put out there can be changed, can be twisted. So honestly, just being confident and bold in who I am, my purity just of self. That way I know when anything is put out there, look, I can look at it, I can laugh at it, or I can look at it and know that's not my truth. And I think that's always what I want to share, anything when it comes to any of my journey on and off the track, just the truth. Like, stuff get hard, like, stuff is great, like, it's a little shaky right now, y'all, so bear with me. It's more so of just honestly sharing that, because we literally all experience that in different ways, in different times, in different periods, but showing that it exists amongst us, and the fact that we are all in this universe, and we're connected, and we need to stop acting like we're really not, because we all are human that live day by day. We're having a human experience.
So from here, what are your future dreams as an athlete, as a person? Where do you see yourself in the future? What's your vision? What's next for Sha'Carri Richardson?
Sha'Carri Richardson. But honestly, I would say just put my all into, of course, when I get on the track every single time, making a statement. I got a lot to say this year, because a lot of people had something to say. And honestly, off the track, just showing that at the same time, I want to just share and show that I appreciate the support, and honestly, it's worth it, for the simple fact of the truth is the truth, and people that understand truth knows that the truth is not always pretty, and living in that, and for all that recognize real, I love it, and that's what I want to continue to do, real, recognize real.
Absolutely. So I did lie. I thought I was done with the questions. I have 2 more questions. But given that it is Black History Month, I think it's time to touch on some Black history. You've mentioned before you look up to Malcolm X, and he's somebody that you admire. And somebody, for me, he was the reason why I converted to Islam. I was raised as Christian. He's somebody I look up to as well. And I know there's different sides of Malcolm that people see and look up to. So I was wondering for you, what is the reason you look up to him? In what way does he shape who you are as a person?
I would say, honestly, I feel like in a way my journey kind of followed, the way that I look at him follows the journey of my life, if that makes sense. Like, his younger days, when he converted, when he found out, about like his betrayal, that period, and then seeing the truth, going to Mecca, seeing a different side of himself to share to the world, and even leading up into his death, like literally, I feel like all of those in a way touched me, for the simple fact of not one time did he ever change his morals, his base. He stood very, very, very strong in his truth, and who he was, and not letting anybody, no matter how much he loved, no matter how much he wanted to see something different, he always saw the truth in reality and reacted and lived in that. So I feel like that is a very major part, and the fact that how much he valued the Black woman. I feel like that's a major part in why I look at him and take a lot of his lessons, a lot of the things that he said, and apply it into myself when I'm going onto the track, or like when I'm literally sharing posts, or like wanting to put that out there. Like, it wasn't, and then I love the fact that he wasn't, like, we all know Martin Luther King, the fact that he has like a street everywhere and the things like that, and they publicize him so much, and the fact that we don't get that so much from Malcolm X because of his approach, because of the fact that he was different. He wanted to do things in a way that didn't necessarily please, excuse my language, everybody, and that was okay for him. He was okay with that because he stood in his truth. So I love the fact of different, but yet at the same time, the principle and the purpose was the same.
The fourth part that you kind of touched on was, Malcolm's, conversations about uplifting Black women. And, we have a lot of beautiful Black women in the crowd here today, a lot coming to see you. One thing I do want to ask is, if you would speak on the importance of, in a society like ours, specifically uplifting Black women and honoring all that they do for us and do with us, what's the importance of that, especially in a time like now?
I would say the importance, and I'm going to say, all women are beautiful. I love me some women. But especially my Black women, and only for the simple fact of just digging into history and seeing that we were doing so much for the simple fact and giving so little credit. Like, it's just so much about Black women that is literally the backbone of this country, medicine, surviving, like just literally the fact that we can do so much and come from literally being beneath everything, or try to be put beneath everything and still thriving, still manifesting, still becoming the goddesses that we are created, that we are meant to be. It just feels amazing, and the fact that we're not stopping, like it's still going. That process, that revolution of Black women saying no, like we here, like we not being quiet no more. Like I'm coming in there with my blonde hair and my long nails because I can do this job better than you. It's still hitting my business. So definitely, it's the time of we not humbling Black women. Black women gonna thrive. We gonna stand out and we gonna be loud with it.
We are at a PWI, and I know for a lot of us, some of us came into the school not necessarily knowing what Black History Month is, not knowing how to celebrate in the right way, maybe not who to talk to. So for all of us here, I was wondering, what are some ways that you would recommend people not only celebrate Black History Month, but honor Black people and uplift Black people in the Black struggle in America?
Honestly, just wanting to be educated, wanting to sit and listen, wanting to learn about the history. I feel like it's more than enough, and honestly sharing too, like letting people know the truth, the honesty, whether it makes them uncomfortable, whether it makes you uncomfortable, the fact that the truth is put out there. We're not just sweeping it under the rug because it's gonna make somebody uncomfortable because their ancestors knew they was wrong. No, we're gonna sit here, we're gonna talk about it for the simple fact of this is us now. Are we doing it now? I hope y'all not thinking like that now. Let's do something different now. Let's operate in a different way. Let's actually let's actually be that unity that we're talking about. So we have to have those uncomfortable conversations in order to get to a place of growth.
I want to put a little bit back to college, because I know you went to LSU. I grew up a University of Houston track fan, but I did see y'all do work every year. So I was wondering, what was the reason why you went to LSU? What attracted you to the program? Why are you proud to be a Tiger?
I went to LSU, honestly, it was my best visit. It was my latest visit, honestly. And I was just the energy that was there, it reminded me so much of home. I know I wanted to get out of Texas, like I love Texas, but I wanted to get out at least a little bit. And the fact that the program, like Aaliyah House was there and she was rolling, like that's my dog, and she was doing her thing, like she was literally doing, and like her purpose, like when I met her and things like that, it literally reminded me so much of the journey I wanted to walk and just what I wanted to do, not even show myself, but for my family, and like having the abilities to do it. Like she really was like a real inspiration for me going to LSU. And then once I got there, yeah, it was a wrap. It was New Orleans. It was Baton Rouge.
Oh, that's what's up. So do you have a favorite, because I know y'all have a lot of meets, y'all have SEC championships, y'all have national championships. Do you have a favorite meet memory or just a favorite LSU memory in particular?
If I have a favorite LSU memory, y'all have to guess what y'all think. Nah, I would say honestly it was when I broke the record. Like, because I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't even feeling my best that day. Like, and the fact that all that went down, like I was excited. And the fact I feel like my favorite picture is the one when I crossed the finish line and threw the gooses. And it was just like the energy was like everything for me. It was my first, nationals. It was at home. It was Texas. It was just everything. Everything was lined up there. So yeah, that was probably my favorite college memory. And also I would say Texas relays. Texas relays when we destroyed Houston and everybody else. No, and that one too. I say because Texas relays is like always like a hype meet. Like that's just like you just go there, you just go dumb. So yeah, I would say probably my top favorite.
That's what's up. So did you, because I know for all my track athletes out there, y'all know y'all have a favorite track to run on, whether it's indoor on a bank or outside on a real nice one. So I was wondering, in college, did you have a favorite track? Did you have a favorite place to run?
I know I did. I hated running in Arkansas. I know why I hated it. I hated that indoor track. But I would say, what did we? We didn't really run on a lot of the same tracks, but I would probably say my LSU. I would have to say, yeah, Texas still. That was my favorite track to run on, honestly. Yeah, Texas.
anything about home kind of make it your favorite place, or is it just the place where you feel that you're going to your best?
It definitely was because it was home, and then I was just from there. But like even from high school, when I ran Texas Relays High School, we had nationals. No, was state in high school. We had state. When we had state there, we would always go to Texas. Like we would always travel there. We made travel down there. It was a whole like little trip or whatever. So definitely had a special place for me. So the fact that, and then it was just like my first year too, and like it's always in Oregon, and I think that year they was doing construction or something like that. So yeah, so it ended up being in Texas. I was like, this is my time. Like this for me.
That's awesome. So kind of to shift from LSU a little bit, obviously going pro was a big decision for any college athlete. So I was wondering, when you made that decision, what was it like for you? How was the transition? And do you feel like you made the best decision at that time? And did it pan out well for you?
I would say I definitely feel like, looking back now, I still feel like I made the best decision for just, like I said, me, my purpose, and what I want to do with my abilities and with my legacy, I would say. And at the time, it was hard for the simple fact that I had a team, I was on a team that actually, like, we got along, we, was together, starting to form something. And then also, of course you have, school at the same time that I was concerned. But honestly, it was just more so the fact that I was like, I can still run track. I can still go to school, you know what I'm saying? I can still be who I am and still honestly just get a bag for it.
So one of the things that I think, I don't know if it came when you were at LSU or it came a little bit after, but NIL laws changed. And, before college athletes, out there doing it for free and being amateurs. But now a lot of them are getting sponsorships, a lot of them are getting paid. So I was wondering, what's your thoughts on the NIL policy change? If it helped or hurt athletes, what's your thoughts on that?
They should have did it when I was in school. I would have gotten paid. But no, in all honesty, I love it for the simple fact of like, y'all know this or y'all, or don't, but those universities make so much money. They make so much money off athletes. They make so much money off different areas of like, the university, things like that. And then it's just like, I understand athletes do get, certain privileges already. But at the same time, like, if only you knew just how much, like, every single time they step on the court, the field, or, things get done behind closed doors amongst, administration, staff, like, I ain't saying we deserve it, but we deserve just a little bit, they deserve it. Only for the simple fact of, like, they will literally dangle it over your head so much as if, like, like, you don't do right by me, you don't listen, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, just like have you like a palm, like in the palm of your hands, and nobody wants to live like that. So for the simple fact that they can now make their money, and for the simple fact, like, no, look, like, you're gonna come to me equal. You're not gonna come to me as you know what I'm saying? You're gonna take this from me if I don't live by this. No, we're gonna come equal, come to a disagreement or an agreement, and then move on from there. So the fact that athletes can make money now, honestly, it just levels the playing field for athletes and I would say coaches.
Yeah, so, and I know there's some athletes. Obviously, there's athletes like yourself. It's kind of a no-brainer to go pro. But I know there's definitely a lot of athletes on the cusp wondering, do I go all in on my plan A or do I kind of fall back on my plan B? What do I do? For anybody who's like, kind of on that cusp of whether to go pro or not, what would you recommend for them? What would you advise them on? What would be your words of advice in that situation?
I would say my words of advice in that situation would be, don't put yourself in a compromising situation because you're just looking at the now. Look at everything. Look at how far you're going to be in 6 months. How, if you make this decision now, are you going to really, even looking within yourself, are you going to dedicate the time, the energy, the relocating, the traveling, are you going to dedicate all of that to be professional when it comes to like the pros and cons of becoming a professional athlete? Are you going to do all of that? And if you realistically know you are, or you realistically don't know, then be real with yourself. I feel like that's the most conscious decision you can make when trying to decide whether you're going to go pro or not. Is it going to benefit what you want to do? Is it going to benefit your family? Like, whatever it is that drives you to already run track and to make it want to go to that next level, for the simple fact that the next level is hard as hell, and it's really how you're going to take care of yourself, how you're going to go out there and perform, not even just perform, but literally take care of yourself, because it's your job at this point. At that point, it's your job, and how you perform is how you, how it's going to impact how you live, how you take care of yourself. So honestly, just considering all those things and being realistic, putting them in front of you and saying, I have more pros than I have cons, I have more cons than I have pros, and making a decision from there.
Oh, that's what's up. So to touch on a little bit about, before the meet, I know sometimes, when you go to meet, you're not always going to jump in, you're going to race, it's going to take a little bit, you're going to warm up and everything. What is that build-up like for you? Because I know, again, everybody's going to see, you cross the line when you get ready to start, when you go, but how do you feel leading up to it? How do you feel like when you get on the line? Is there anything that you do to get yourself ready for that moment, or is it just kind of lock in and you go from there? What is it like?
Honestly, I treat every meet the same. Because I'm going to go in there and run. I just maybe a different track, maybe a different atmosphere, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to do what it is that I've been training and preparing my body to get prepared to do. And just honestly going in there and doing what it is that I know what I can do. I know if I've been practicing my ass off, I know I'm going to go, I'm coming in there a little cocky. I'm coming in there a little bit with my chest out just a little extra. I'm listening to my music. I'm definitely in the car. I'm listening to some gospel. But once I get to the track, I'm gonna turn it over to some a little rough. Listen, a little R&B, a little hip hop, but at the same time, just listening to something with a message of I'm here and it's time. I'm here and I'm gonna work. Every race I walk into it like I'm gonna put my 110% into it. So if you beat me, you had to do 120. That's how I walk into every race.
Outside of just the different, because obviously you ran when you were younger and then college now pro, do you, obviously you said you approach every race the same and everything, but does the competition change how you feel at all? Like knowing you're going on the world stage versus you're at a meet in say, Iowa, like, does the competition change the way that you feel about the race? Does it add the pressure, or is it just go time anytime?
I know it sounds like arrogant, but like for real, it's really go time anytime. But I would say certain competition, like of course, certain names. It's like, you see like, your football teams, you got your rival, your known rival team, you walk in there with a little extra So definitely if I see certain names or like certain races or like I know I've been training and me and my coach like, look, we need to hit a certain time. I'm walking into the race a little extra, like I need to get something done today. And I need you to feel that from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely. So on that topic too, I'm sure everybody that really loves to compete has a favorite person, not that they hate, but that they love to go against. So I was wondering, is there anybody that you'd love to get on the track with that you would love to compete against eventually, or like who's your favorite person to run against? Like you see their name on the heat and you're like, all right, I'm gonna give them 120, 130.
I'm gonna first say myself. And I'm only gonna say that, and I know it sounds corny, y'all, but I'm so dead ass. Like, I only say that for the simple fact I love like getting on the track and improving. Like I love running, seeing my race, knowing where I messed up at bit. So when I do it, so my next race, I'm gonna correct it. I'm gonna do this different. And then also from there, of course, I want to always run against the best of the best. I ain't done no name dropping right now because it is what it is. Y'all know what's up. Ain't much talking needs to be said because a lot is going to be shown once my season starts. So I always, like I said, want to run against the best of the best. I'm the fastest American woman, so I want to run against everybody that's the fastest.
Talk a little bit about the change in terms of just being in college and then as a pro. What is your what's your process as an athlete getting ready as a pro? Like your eating schedule, your training schedule. How is that number one different from college? But also just could you walk us through that process a little bit of what it looks like on a weekly basis?
I would say honestly the difference from college, of course, we were more so. I say. We were given more, food, massage, recovery, things of that nature. We were just more so directed into the directions we needed to go. And professionally, it made me be more self-aware of the things that I know I need to pay attention to, like more so myself. Because it's not somebody that's over there watching and saying, oh, notice that, so you need this. So just more awareness of my body. More attentiveness to my food, noticing that I have to take more discipline when it comes to my meals, can't eat this during certain times, or I shouldn't, but whatever. And then also time management, definitely notice understanding that just as much time as I spend off on the track, I have to spend like time off the track, like for me, like away from track, away from like just anything else that's associated with something, I don't know, something bigger than myself. Like just definitely giving time back into me. A lot of those things I felt like made me have to work when it came to being a professional rather than when I was in college, because everything was just more so on the schedule. So honestly, just being more self-efficient, more self-aware, and just being more dedicated, honestly, more dedication.
Like holding yourself accountable to continue consistent.
You know what I'm saying? Hold myself accountable, like, oh, I can't eat that, or like, I can't do that, or I need to be doing this when I'm not in practice, or doing this when I am in practice. Like, literally just more accountable all across the board.
So speaking of practice, I know everybody has played sports. You got a favorite workout, you got a least favorite workout. So I'm wondering, what's your favorite workout? You see on the schedule, like, yeah, I'm ready. And then the one where you like, dang, like, might as well call it sick today. What are those two workouts for you?
I would say my favorite workout is anything less than 150. Like 150 and less, I'm good. I'm rolling in my spikes. Let's get it done. And I'll honestly say the workout I do not like the most. Well, it depends on like what phase of training I'm in. All training, I hate all that. Like all of it. All of it. And we in grass all the time, I hate it. And then I say, well, as of right now, I would honestly say I hate block days. Only by the simple fact that's something that I'm working at. But other than that, I don't really have any like workouts I don't like right now. Like if you put like a 250 in front of me, we're gonna have a discussion.
So you gotta go between like 5 by 200, you gotta do a couple block starts. Which you prefer?
Honestly, I'm doing them 200s because I know I can do them. And I'm not gonna get busted.
So,
No, seriously though.
that's what's up. So obviously, again, my favorite's being a track athlete. But if you didn't run track, what sport would you have gone with, and why?
I'm laughing because the answer I want to say I cannot say out loud. But if I did not run track, honestly, I don't even think I would do sports. It's just, it's too demanding, like, honestly, like, and that's another thing about going professional. Like, if you're gonna go professional, no, you're gonna be able to do that, like, stay up there. Like, the names that you see that's in whatever element you're going into, know that you either trying to challenge them, keep up with them, or replace them, because, especially us being women, you know they already don't like to pay us, so you gotta get your money's worth. If you're gonna do it, it gotta be worth your coin. It gotta be worth your time. That's definitely what I would say, especially being a professional athlete, and not just a woman professional athlete. Men, y'all know too. Y'all don't let them coaches and owners get y'all milk them.
So we had a couple of serious questions and a couple of tough questions, but I did want to transition to a little bit more fun questions about you personally off the track. So I guess we can start with, Colin, what's your favorite food? In season, out of season, don't matter. Should she try New Haven pizza, y'all?
What pizza? Yeah,
New Haven pizza. I mean, I'm from Jersey. I think we got the best pizza in the nation, but New Haven got a little something. What's she working with? Frank Pepe's? They say no because I'm from Jersey. They just hate it, man. It's all good. But if you get a chance, Frank Pepe's, New Haven, I heard they got some good pizza. So you did also talk about, when you get into your beat, your lock in. I remember you talking in the office, like you turn your phone off, you're not on social media. When you lock in, what's your favorite type of music to listen to? Like in different states, you working out, or you about to do drills, you about to actually get into the beat. What do you listen to?
I would say, honestly, like, once I make it to the meet, because beforehand, like in the car, in like my hotel room, probably I'm listening to gospel. I'm uplifting myself. And then once I get to the track, I don't know. I gotta say it's just gutter. Like I'm I feel like I'm going into war, so I have to get ready. I have to get I'm getting my physical ready. So now I need to get everything else. I need to get my mental ready. You know, like we're going into like adrenaline. Like I need you to get your rushing. I need you to think that this is something that we need to get done. This is what we've been preparing for. My body ready. Are you ready? It's more so it's just like a coaching myself through my music talking like in me, for me. It's kind of like my frequency, messing like uplifting my frequency to a level of getting prepared for my competition, for my race.
Cool. Another question. I know a lot of people, watching Euphoria and everything. So I was wondering, what's your favorite TV show? What you like to watch all the time? Oh, no.
I'm sorry. I haven't watched that one. From what I've heard about it, I'm good. Okay. I'm good. But honestly, like I am a TV head. Like I will watch any season like that makes sense. Like I know it sounds like crazy, but y'all be on Tube TV, like the Tube app? No? Now don't be on Tube? No, well, it's an app. Listen, it's an app. But it's just like a lot of like different random stuff on there. But okay, not that one. Okay, y'all know about that one. Alright. So I would probably say P-Valley. I was in that heavy. And then I don't know, like I will watch anything. Like you tell me, like if somebody tell me it's good, I'll watch it. But I don't watch it till like a month later, so I make sure it's not hyped up. You know what I'm saying? Like I watch it like a month later. Like I'm gonna watch this one that y'all talking about. I'm gonna watch that one, but I'm not gonna watch it till like next month.
That's what I was on. I just started Euphoria last night. I'm not letting y'all get to me, man. I'm not too with it. What you watching right now? When you go back to your hotel, what you gonna turn on?
Hotel ain't got Netflix, so I'm gonna be on my phone. But y'all probably gonna like laugh at me, but I'm really watching reruns of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm watching season 9, the season for Page July. I'm watching that too. I don't know why. I got more in this one, so I'm gonna go finish that. I just be trying. I'm a TV head, like I will find anything. If it sounds good, I even will watch like history stuff too. Like I'll put on YouTube and like next thing you know, I'm hearing about Egypt and like, aliens. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm people let it play. So yeah, so I just like, yeah, I be watching TV. I be in it.
So another thing you're famous for is, for me, when I was on the track, I took my chains off, I took wristbands off. But you got, you got dressed up, you looking great. So what in recent memory is your favorite like meet outfit? When you went, you was like, yeah, I'm gonna kill him with this 10-7, I'm gonna look good too. Like, what was your favorite outfit?
Hey, my favorite outfit, I would probably have to say two. I would say the all black from Nationals from 2019. That was sexy. I was thick too.
Yeah, I looked that up.
But and then also I would say how I put my look together at trials. Like when I put like the sleeve on this arm, sleeve on the arm. I would say kind of that look because we don't really get a lot of options like to mix it up. So you gotta get creative. But and then I would say honestly, but it's really not just it's not about my outfits. Honestly, just about like my hair. It's like my hair, my nails. Like I really don't pay attention to my uniform like that because can't do. Not like I said, not a lot of options, but definitely like doing something different to my nails, my hair, and my face. Like actually, I don't wear makeup when I run. They love to say that. I just wear lashes and like to put glitter all over my face. But definitely that's pretty much all I do really to like, just style myself. I put a lot of emphasis in my hair and my nails when I'm running.
How did that become kind of like a staple of your beats? Like your nails doing super long, on the track. How did that become a part of what you do?
Honestly, it was just really to stand out. Like I saw that everybody, like just from the history of watching like great women run, like you had of course FloJo, and then it kind of just like stopped like the fashion, the bringing the fashion to the track. Like it kind of like I feel like it kind of like where did it go for me? And then also the fact that we all were in the same, we're all wearing uniforms, so it's just like, how am I gonna make somebody look at me? Like, even if I don't win this race, like, you gonna be like, damn, she cute though. Like, like, it's all, like, y'all think I'm playing, I'm so serious. I think, like, that's how I be thinking. Like, if I don't win this race, I'm still gonna be the cutest one that was in this race, okay? I'm being serious. Like, yeah, just honestly, just being different, just giving the people something to look at, like wanting to watch. Like, literally, when I was at LSU, like people will randomly just come to the track, like people that ain't never watched track before. Like, even now, like I get a lot of, I don't know nothing about track, but I love you. Like, you know, so hey, come on, I'm a teacher. I'm a child. So yeah, definitely, I feel like just being different is what makes me love, like doing different stuff all the time. And then the fact that y'all expect it, like y'all want that. And then like honestly, they not gonna admit it, but it be rubbing off on, other athletes and stuff. But they ain't gonna admit it. But it's fun though. I think it brings fun. It just make it fun. Like, what you doing? You'll see.
Yeah, 100%. So another question I did have is, obviously, again, for those of y'all that don't know, Olympics not the only place track athletes run, as you talked about. You got Diamond League, you got World Championships. So is there a place that you're looking forward to running at, or a place that you've never run at that you want to go to?
Honestly, I'm just really looking forward to running in, like I said, World Champs this year. It's the first time it's the United States like ever, and I think they've been having World Champs for like a while. So I love the fact that it's the first time here. Oregon, they just got like a new stadium. I think that's where we ran in trials. That was their new stadium. I think it just opened up like this year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and it felt really, really good to run on. And the fact that I love the fact it's here because I got not a lot of athletes come to the United States to run because we really don't have a lot of meets here, and the meets we do run here, they don't come. So I love the fact that like now, like the best of the best, you have no choice, you have to come here. And I love the fact that it's in my own backyard. Like I ain't gotta go nowhere, I ain't gotta, travel 16 hours, 15, for real, it gets serious though. But traveling that long and stuff like that to like get prepared for like a big race, I'm glad that it's here, it's home, and I can have like of course my family, and just honestly like, we can have something to claim, Yeah.
Oh, I do have 3 more questions, but the first one that I wanted to get into before that. So I got questions that just keep coming, man. They just keep coming. So I did want to ask, you being a professional, honestly, some people just get up, they got a 20, 30-minute commute to work. Sometimes you traveling those long hours. So, what is that like? How do you balance that? And how do you deal with, just jet lag and, being in the new environment and having to find a track that works? Like, how does that travel work for you?
Well, luckily I have a great team around me that everything is pretty much set up. And not even just that, like when we do travel, the track meets will definitely make sure that, certain, like, basic stuff is able to be accessible, like track, or whatever, just the basic needs of the track. But definitely I have my team that I have, like my agents, my coach, and my training partners as well. Like we do a very good job of getting that prepared before we even travel. And then like honestly they're traveling ahead, like we know that we're gonna have to be on this flight for this amount of time. So just when we get off the flight we might have a shakeout, or making sure like to wear certain things while we're on the plane. Just honestly just preparing, just talking in advance. I feel like we do a very good job of communicating. That way we don't have those issues when we travel those long hours and things like that. And then once we get there, just regrouping and communicating even more to just establish everything else that needs to get done leading to the meet. So there's a lot of teamwork that goes involved, especially when it comes to traveling. I just run, they do everything else.
Okay, so I promise, this is my last two questions. So the first one kind of corny, but I think some people are interested to hear. It's a hot topic. Would you rather fly or be invisible? If you could choose. Would you rather be soaring in the skies, or people gonna look around like, where's Sha'Carri?
I want to be invisible. Big facts. I got ideas in mind. I want to be invisible. I'm ready. I'll turn invisible right now. All y'all gonna see these clothes right here.
So my second question is track related. And US, we got a long history of real great female sprinters. So I'm wondering, in your Hall of Fame 4x1 relay, you 3 other people, who are those 3 people?
Gojo. Wilma Rudolph. Can I put me?
Yeah, you and somebody else. It's you, those 2 and somebody else.
I ain't gonna lie, me and I know this may sound shocking, but Marilyn Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
I was expecting like Carmelita or okay.
Marilyn Jones.
That's a world record winning 4x1. That's what's up. The last question I got, because we all looking for the same. Yo, I said, come on. This is the last one. Y'all clocking me. Damn. Jeez Louise. Okay, so my last final question. If you could choose, what's more important to you? Getting a world record or getting that Olympic gold medal?
It's so funny you asked me this. We almost won, anyway. But yes, it's definitely the world record. Everybody walking around, everybody, it's a lot of people, not everybody, but plenty of people can say they are gold medalists. Not a lot of people can say they are world record holders.
So, like I said, that was my last question. Okay? Just be able to speak to us, not only because you are who you are as an athlete, but who you are as a woman. You come to talk to us on Black History Month, so it's important. So if we could do one more round of applause.
Thank you guys for having me. Like, I know y'all could have had plenty of people come and talk to y'all, but thank y'all for having me during Black History Month. I mean, we shouldn't have it, but whatever. But I love the fact that we're being honored and the fact that y'all see me as part of history, and I want to continue to just be that. And then also everybody that came, like not even just Black people, but everybody that came in here that wanted to learn, that are fans, that do support. I love and appreciate every single one of you guys. And the fact that, and the fact that despite of my own things that I've had going on with me, and I still had the support of you guys. Like, I didn't even think all y'all was gonna come in here. But and the fact that y'all even just want to hear me talk, and the fact that y'all still hear y'all support, and like I said, y'all understand the real, recognize real. I cannot wait to continue to take in the support and also just represent you guys every single time I get on the track, because it's not just me. Like, I represent y'all because y'all represent me. Y'all hold it down when I can talk my shit. Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Thank y'all for coming and popping out to this event. This is our last and final installment of Justice Now for this year, so ain't a better way to close it off. Appreciate you coming.